Welcome back, everyone. Today's explainer is for anyone who has ever stood in the skincare aisle, stared at a tiny box, and honestly wondered if you need a law degree just to wash your face without causing a major incident. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to act as your knowledgeable skincare besties. We're decoding those deeply confusing K-beauty labels, figuring out what they actually mean, and showing you how to find honest, dermatologist-tested picks that just plain work for your routine. So let's just start right off the bat with a question I know so many of us ask. Why does trying new skincare always seem to make sensitive skin so incredibly angry? You know the exact drill I'm talking about. You buy that super hyped new serum, you bring it home, smooth it on, and literally within a day, your easily irritated reactive skin decides to throw an absolute tantrum. Like a toddler who didn't get their nap. You're left with visible redness, maybe some breakouts, and skin that just feels horribly uncomfortable. It is incredibly frustrating to feel like you're constantly fighting your own face, just trying to find something gentle. But hey, I want to reassure you right now, it is not you. You are not bad at reading boxes. The honest truth, the skincare aisle is practically legally designed to be confusing. It's wild. You can read a label front to back perfectly and still walk away with a completely wrong idea about what's actually inside the bottle, and more importantly, what it's going to do for the look and feel of your skin. Okay, let's dive into this. The confusion really kicks off when we look at how these products are regulated. Over in the US, the system basically has two main buckets. It's either a cosmetic, which just cleans or helps you look nice, or it's a drug, which comes with a massive, massive regulatory burden. There's really nothing in between. But if we look at the Korean system, they have this fascinating middle tier called a functional cosmetic. And honestly, this missing middle tier is exactly why K-beauty labels can sound so incredibly confident compared to what we're used to seeing on the shelves here. So what exactly is a functional cosmetic? Put simply, it's a product with a government-recognized efficacy claim that's evaluated or reported before it can even be sold. The Korean regulators strictly police exact words you are allowed to use on that box. Like, for example, if a product is approved for an anti-wrinkle appearance claim, they absolutely cannot print the words anti-aging. They literally argue over single words to keep claims highly specific to exactly what was approved. Now, what's really, really interesting about this system comes down to a tiny little number, 0.04%. This is the part of the functional cosmetic system that almost nobody ever explains. See, Korea has a list of approved ingredients at specific doses. If a brand uses 0.04% of an ingredient called adenosine, the government actually exempts them from having to provide clinical efficacy data on their finished product. Using that exact percentage simply unlocks the right to print anti-wrinkle on the box without the finished cream ever being clinically tested on a human being. Wild, right? So the absolutely crucial point here is that a functional cosmetic label is, technically speaking, telling the truth. But it's handing you a receipt for the ingredient, not a study of the actual product sitting in the bottle. The data exists for the ingredient, sure, but an untested formula that just happens to have a good ingredient is still, at the end of the day, an untested formula. When we compare the two markets, it's kind of funny, really. The US aisle is basically the Wild West. Brands will slap the word miracle on a box and just wait around until someone sues them. The Korean aisle is vastly more disciplined, heavily policing those exact words, but they've built a system that legally exempts brands from showing clinical data for the final product. Now, to be totally fair, Korean brands routinely test far more than US brands generally do, but I think we can all agree the standard across the entire global industry should really be much higher. All of this regulatory chaos brings us to what we like to call the claims ladder. Let's move to this and see how it builds from the weakest promises up to the strongest proofs. Down at the very bottom, dermatologist developed just means someone with a fancy title was in the room. Then we have functional cosmetic, which, as we just learned, is often just an ingredient claim. Then comes dermatologist-tested, meaning a test happened, but you can't actually read it. Next is a certificate number, which is better for sure, but it's still just a number. At the very top, the absolute strongest claim is a published study with a permanent DOI link. Every single wrong on this ladder is legal, but only that very top wrong is actually checkable by you. Listen, if you are shopping the K-beauty aisle, my best advice to you is to just drop the exhausting 10-step trends. You really don't need a massive routine that risks making your sensitive skin act up. Just buy by the job. Pick up a great sunscreen, a gentle cleanser, a calming serum, and a solid barrier cream. Focus on those specific jobs to keep your skin feeling comfortable and looking beautifully calm, rather than piling on layers you just don't need. Oh, and a quick, super important warning if you're buying popular Korean sunscreens here in the States. Same name on the front, but please read the back anyway. US sold versions of these products are sometimes reformulated with older FDA-compliant filters just so they can be sold legally. So the brand crossed the border, but the formula you love might not have. Always check those ingredient lists, folks. So, where does PowerV fit into this whole conversation? Well, PowerV is an honest, brilliantly transparent alternative, but it is entirely a US brand based right out of Austin, Texas. It is not K-beauty, and it is definitely not a Korean functional cosmetic. PowerV is a purely cosmetic product dedicated solely to supporting the look and feel of sensitive skin, all without relying on any of those confusing regulatory loopholes. If you want to talk about true, meaningful testing, just look at the number 52. That represents the 52 subjects with sensitive skin that PowerV was dermatologist-tested on. They highly prioritize how your skin looks and feels without causing unnecessary irritation. They aren't trying to force your skin into looking better through harshness. They are simply providing a gentle, incredibly supportive cosmetic environment for easily irritated skin. And this brilliantly illustrates that top rung of the claims ladder we talked about earlier. Instead of just handing you a certificate number you can't read, PowerV literally says, check the receipts. They provide the actual, fully published paper with a permanent DOI link so you can read the dermatologist-tested patch test results for yourself. Now, that is exactly the kind of transparency the whole aisle should be aiming for. Let's take a look at their strictly cosmetic, super gentle formula. It features a very specific blend: phytocelltech argan, moss celltech no1, astaxanthin, ceramides, and squalane. This entire lineup is completely free of added fragrances, essential oils, and harsh exfoliating acids. It's designed from the ground up with gentle ingredients that simply support a beautiful, comfortable look for the skin. To really understand why they chose these specific ingredients, we can look at the ingredient-level study findings attributed to Mabel Biochemistry. In these ingredient studies, they observed 26.2% less visible crow's feet depth, a 12.7% firmer look, and a 91% barrier comfort improvement. Notice how absolutely every single metric here is strictly framed around the visible appearance and the physical comfort of the skin. It's all about helping your skin look smoother and feel wonderfully resilient. The entire approach really just boils down to 3 incredibly simple, supportive actions: defend, renew, and seal. The formula offers antioxidant support to defend against visible stress, it contains ingredients to renew the beautiful appearance of the skin, and it relies on ceramides and squalane to seal in lasting comfort. It's a beautifully gentle cosmetic alternative that focuses entirely on visible skin health first and foremost. Now, as much as I absolutely love a gentle formula, we have to talk about the golden rule. You must always patch test anything new. Apply a small amount behind your ear or maybe inside your forearm for a few days, because even the most beautifully formulated product needs to agree with your unique skin type. A study of 52 people is fantastic information, but at the end of the day, you are the only relevant sample when it comes to your own face. If you are totally tired of the confusing labels and just want to try a transparent, gentle approach, you should absolutely learn more over at PowerVskin.com. Make sure you don't forget the V, tuck it right in there between Power and Skin, PowerVskin.com. It's super easy to miss, but very important. And while you're there, you can actually grab their fantastic, completely free AI skin analysis quiz to help you understand your unique skin type even better. I highly recommend checking it out. So I'll leave you with this final, empowering thought. Are you ready to stop fighting your skin and start supporting it? It's time to step off that exhausting cycle of irritation. Stop worrying about confusing labels and finally reclaim your skincare story. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And hey, here's to skin that looks and feels absolutely wonderful. See you next time.